Okay. I don't know where to start, but I guess I'll start somewhere. As a target individual, one thing is for sure, they brainwashing you. They're literally manipulating you in every possible to be acceptive of this manipulation. For me, I see grown men and women making themselves laugh, being like this. For when you recognize gaslighting for what it is, you see as the comical thing that is as it is. You see through the theatricals, making themselves laugh. People are like ho 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 ho, like just laughing out loud. Like really, you don't even laugh like this. You just want me to hear you laughter. And with me is also a lot of people are doing some bad things to, like, well, as a target individual we are human subject, and unfortunately there is very 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 sophisticated technology, and contracted bottom feeders are using those onto you. They are contracted to do this, right? And that's that's what they do. The reason why they're doing this is because the government is doing this to you, and they are contracted to involve themselves in that, right? If and it seems like it's so easy to use this technology that children can involve themselves. It doesn't take geniuses. I think the sophistication of this technology is unbelievably advanced, that anybody could be involved, um, and that just shows how forward these entities are in regard of technology. And we obviously know when you think about technology, thinking about weapon, you can only think about the one main entity that has that level of tech resources. And obviously DARPA is obviously involved in this program, because we're talking about technology that is DARPA related, and we cannot, there's obviously involved in that. And I see this for what it is. I see that I'm a subject. I see that this program contracts civilians who are contracted, but obviously there are handlers who are governmental related. And as I obviously I'm aware of that. And I understand as a target individual, there's also an aspect of making you acceptive of manipulations. For me, I make it so obvious that I'm manipulated. I don't give them, I want them to make it like a game. I want them to be so obvious. Today, for example, I go in the train with, I don't know who's moving around. I see a need, they try to create stimulation. I will everywhere. Kids are trying to walk in front of me. Teenagers, so kids are waiting. I'm like, first of all, I have this camera, this body camera, for the sole purpose that my brain and reality are two different things. They can make me perceive things in different ways. I mean, in every sexual ways you can. I've talked about it in different videos. All the time I've been forced to look at kids and getting perception that are just not natural. I mean, I have a reference of two little trash over there, two little kids, who they try to make me look at in a sexual way. Bottom feet, little trash little kids, like 13, 14 little kids, try to walk in certain ways. Trash. And so I know the perception is manipulated. So I make it obvious. Like, I'm never gonna watch a glimpse of whatever this person is. They're gonna create something just to show the level of manipulations. I know that they want you to be accepting of this. That's the job too. It's not only to make you experience things, it's to make you accept these things. It's to make you accept. It's part of the stress. Now for me, it's not working out. Now it's annoying to deal with it. It's really annoying. It's annoying. It's more agitating. But I'm like, you think I'm subscribing? Never. Bring whatever you done to me. I understand that. I've made it clear. There's a clear pattern of what you guys do. Every day is the same thing. And now that makes sense. Now, like, I see people just really dumbing themselves down, and I can see like them try to brainwash me, whispering it, "Oh, it's you. She's 13." I was like, I don't know who the F they're talking about. They talk about somebody they're gonna frame me. I was like, go frame. The reality is just beyond, and I'm gonna address that in this video. Target individual. Let me introduce myself. I'm a target individual. I'm not gonna give my name, but since August 19, 2019, that's when everything changed for me. Ever since that day, everything have changed. especially in my processing, thinking, perceptions, memories, and everything. Sexual stimulations, all that. Even going to the restroom, everything. My body, my mind, everything changed on that day, and it's getting worse with time, right? But at least I had the understanding of what's happening to me because of the validations. When you see the clear pattern of what they do, it's just like it's surreal. It's surreal to hear people saying the exact same thing that you're saying, and you have no idea who they are. The validations are not even validation that you can even comprehend. It's just super surreal. It's beyond unbelievable. It's like this person is saying exactly, I don't know this. They say the same thing I'm saying. It's just crazy. And their job is to try, and they like to call it war, is to try to disturb this, make you be doubtful of the obvious that you see there. It's there, I know. So their job is to gaslight you, right? And there's a lot of distortion, there's a lot of disorientation, there's a lot of try to manipulate you to change and not think straight. For now, for example, somebody say use her hand. It's because they try to change the subject into me as a kid. But I've talked about that a lot of times. I'll bring it back up and understand that the reason why the disorientation is needed is to try to counter what I'm saying. Because you see the obvious manipulations, which consist of perceptions, thoughts, memory, and so much of stimulation and reactions. For example, from this point on, I cannot look at a child. I see little babies, stimulations, little babies, little kids everywhere, especially little girls. I had a body cam. I see mothers dragging their kids, trying to make me see that they're literally pushing their kids. You see how desperate they are? It is so sad. Try to make the kids be seen, and you see the mother. I'm like, poor kid. They don't even know. They're just walking back and forth. It's like, look at this. See, you think they're protecting kids? And they're doing the pedophilia type of torture, which you're gonna hear from others. This is consistently done. And they're gonna see. Listen, whatever's gonna happen to me, one thing is for sure. I will ensure that through all my video, it's clear that I never and I will never subscribe and manipulate accept these manipulations of my thoughts, my perception. And me and many others have been experiencing the same thing because of these manipulations. These people who are contouring reality, but disorienting reality, but try to block out reality, have been not only doing the pedophilia type of torture, but severely torturing children. And with me, I can hear these people try to counter reality. I was like, oh, I don't care. Because I see them, and they wanted me to look at them and see them as these reasonable people. I was like, I don't. I know what you're involved in. Listen to this testimony, and I don't care. It's like, exactly. You don't care that this program is torturing women and children. So I know what kind of person you are, because you are involved in a program that does these horrible things to women and babies and children. So of course I know that you're doing these things to me, and you don't care. And not only that, you're involved in that. No. And then going back to me as a kid. Today, when they do this pedophilia type of things they do, they're like, no, what we do is we're mapping. We're making you think the way you think when you're a child. We matched it. And then yesterday was a whole disturbing thing that they tried to come up with. But we mapped it. We are making you think the way you would have thought when you were a kid. And now it goes to something else. You know what? Not only we mapped it that when you were a child, but we knew that maybe one day when you have a child, you could do these things. Because yesterday or the day before, I went and I was able to see reality of what's happening in this city. That's funny. Earlier, this woman is like, "This is New York," and I'm like, "Exactly, this is New York." You understand? This is New York. This is not your fantasy you've created. This is truly New York. So. And on top of that, she I don't know if she thought, oh, New York would protect me. What? Do you understand what happens every day? You know, in my neighborhood here, the things that could be happening. And just go to that list of people who've raped children. Jeez, so nasty. This is New York. It's not La La Land. that it's our New York. Your New York is filled with so much horribleness, and you're delusional if you think I'm gonna let you escape. And by the way, this target individuals here. What do you think if this is your New York? Why not all these target individuals from all around the world come to New York to be safe? Because they know what's gonna happen to them. And if anything, they have to get out of New York. If anything, somebody from out of state will never be like, in a target individual who knows in a target individual will never gonna be like, oh, let me come to New York. I'll be safe here. Trash. But let me get back to reality. With what I saw. Like I said, I saw a court thing that was happening, and it was about a man who did something to his child. Horrible story. And then they were trying to make me think of me as a kid. And like, you see, that you could be doing that. Like, and they tried to make me imagine what he did and stimulate me, and then make me imagine me as a kid. And you gotta understand this trash. Their job is to try to take on a persona and accept these things. They are rewiring your brain for you to accept these manipulations. The reality is these people don't get manipulated. Those people don't get stimulated. Those people don't get brain rewired. They don't have people 24/7 conditioning them, torment, like changing them, literally forcing them to have sexual dream about kids, doing all this thing. No, this is a man who woke up and decided to do whatever he did. Not because he's being brain. This is, and you nasty this nasty perps who are working for this obviously program, who are doing these things to people, are trying to manipulate people to think in these disturbing ways. What do you people who are involved in these things should be should be seen for what they are. Target individual. You are a mother. You're a father. And you are involved in a program that is involved in rewiring the brain of a man and a woman in these disgusting ways. And then you try to make yourself angry. Oh my God, disgusting thing. And then try to talk about me as a child. Oh yeah, abuse as a kid. That's why you heard somebody say, use her hand. Because as a child in middle school, just turned 13 or just turned 14 or about to turn 14. About that time, like that between the just turned 13 or about to, like that little, I do something stupid to myself as a child. It's embarrassing, but you understand children at that age, especially with testosterone, they understand, they have kids, and they understand very well. But their job is not to understand things. Their job is to manipulate things, to change things. That's what they have to exaggerate. Use her hand. That's not the extreme. And the thing is, I did something to myself. That's not even the extreme. They want to exaggerate it, but that's not even the extreme exaggeration. That is like a light increase of what actually happened. The extreme increase is there's two, like you use her mouth and you raped her. It's so disgusting. And it was me as a kid, and there was another, but it's something I just but you understand, this is a child in middle school. Now, they know very much that children can do impulsive, stupid things as children. It becomes a problem when if something that they do that often, and as I'm saying that, they try to make me scratch, and they're playing with my skin pores, so you understand, they tell me how I'm gonna rash, like they've done that to a 3-week-old. But the reason why they have to exaggerate these things is because they understand that this is an impulsive moment of a child. And so they're trying, no, you abuse. It's like trash. You're in a program that is torturing babies. Do you think imagine me looking at this person, see the impulsive stupidity of what he did or she did as a child in 8th grade, in middle school. But I'm in a program that is torturing children and suffocating them and doing horrible things to them. And then I'm like, oh my God, what you did, you abused. What? That person's like, you're in a program that is killing and torturing children. You talk about a stupid kid doing something stupid like that as a child? You're in a program that is involved in the torturing of babies. This is the mentality these people want. Like, no, I'm doing it for my child. You're in a program that tortures children for your child? Trash. And that's not even that. Then they are literally rewiring my brain in so much disgusting ways. I've been showing the clear pattern of what they've been doing to me. They have been forcing me to look at children in a sexual way. Disgusting. babies to older kids. I came back from here. I saw the little babies everywhere. I could see just the little heads of the hair. Stimulation. I was the mother dragging. It was so disgusting. For me, this morning was so disgusting because my brain at this point is just gone to a retardation that they have been manipulating my memories and slowly creating things. But thankfully, the reason why I make recording of what's happened to me is to give a testimonial for the days I can't think, because you can see even me speaking right now, it's not easy anymore. It's not easy for me to speak, and understand it's going to get worse. This last night it was so nasty. It's like, oh, you like girls. And what they're trying to say is, when this thing started on August 19, 2019, they were saying that, what I'm experiencing today, right? What they make me experience as of now is that they've mapped my brain. They've made me start thinking the way I was thinking when I was a child. And they said, like, you see, that's how you looked at little girls, right? And so I realized that, okay, so this is happening, but usually that doesn't happen to, like, boys. You guys do that to little girls because you say you mapped it how I looked at when I was, the way I was looking like little kids, especially little girls when I was a kid. I was like, oh, you like girls. You see how they start twisting? It's like, no. I get the reaction toward little girls because you manipulate me like that, but you're saying that that's how I used to think when I was a kid. You like, and that's the things they do. At this point, I understand. So they wake up, it's like, you like girls. So they wake me up and say that. It's like so nasty. And throughout the day, they're like, no, you say you like. And when I see a little girl, they do the nastiest things. Now they do that to little boys, any kids, it's all the time. By them, I was like, oh, little girls is real, little boys is fake. Oh, they do some things like, oh no, but a little bit true when you're little girls. No. You are making me experience something that me naturally will have never experienced. And when you say I have never, maybe when you were a kid, I'm a grown 30-some-year-old man. I'm talking to people who, by the way, have systematically done the pedophilia type of torture to others. So not only they do this pedophilia type of torture onto you, but others have literally said the same thing. And that now we mapped it. Now you mapped it. That means that you manipulate my brain to think in a certain way that I was thinking when I was a kid. What the heck? Now we are trash. And that's how they sound. It's so disturbing because they try to sound like childlike. And I'm like, I see a grown man. It's like, no, we. And it's so funny how they distort reality so often. So obviously, I understand what this is about. I'm a target individual. And this program is to continuously improve a technology that is meant to break people down. That's why they do this thing, and it's done so systematically. You see men, women saying the same thing, and it's systematically done. They're saying the same thing. And what is this is called, it's like a machine learning type of technology. Now, I don't know the specifics, but I understand that this kind of technology is the kind of technology that gets better with more and more samples, meaning more people put in this program, the better it gets. The better it gets at doing what it does, and what it does is to break people down. This is not to make somebody better. This is to rewire you, conditioning you in different ways. And it's so disgusting. They try to break you down, and behavior modulation try to make you be something that you're not. And so you hear all kinds of samples from men, women, and children. Not because they want to torture men and women for fun. It's not fun. They might enjoy doing that, but they don't spend billions of dollars just for the fun of it. There's a purpose, and it's a purpose to improve a technology that's specific to weaponizing your brain against you. And they come up with the fantasies as, no, this technology, it's meant to find pedophiles and trash us. Good. So that 67-year-old kid, autism, this whole family over there is like, even a 3-week-old baby is a pedophile. These people are disgusting. They come up with this fantasy, and they use the pedophilia type of torture systematically. And guess what? Oh, the humiliation. These people have no self-respect, huh? So the shame is non-existent. To find out there's a bunch of pedophiles in this same entities running this program. I mean, we're talking about from DARPA, DOD, and CIA. Extreme high level of pedophilia. In my brain, it's like, now we're FBI. It's like, oh, please get the... To try to go around the reality of what there's a problem. And we know the government and the intelligence community is involved in this program. We know CIA is for sure involved in it. We know for sure DARPA is involved in this. You can tell me that you see Brain Initiative as one of these main on the DARPA page, and see they literally say we've been working on neurotechnology since the 70s. This is DARPA. DARPA works on defense weapon, on defense advanced technology. That means they work for military purposes, to weaponize things, to turn things into more efficient weapon. That's what they do. They don't do things to just, oh, we try to embed. No, they do things to make a weapon, or improve a weapon, or efficiency of a weapon. So what they're doing is to continuously improve this technology, to continuously to weaponize your brain against you, so they can push people to kill themselves. And like these things, it's for the worst. They are trying to condition you to be they are conditioning you in these disturbing pedophilia ways, so you can start looking at you in a different ways. They are trying to change the notion of self. For me, it's never going to happen. So for me, it's going to be a lot of theatrical torture, which is going to be bad. But I understand it's theatrical. I've humiliated them by the simple fact of showing the obvious. These people are doing things to the most vulnerable people. This program is literally torturing infants. This program is literally torturing a lot of women, using rape tactics, things that stand systematically and is throughout the world, for the purpose of improving this technology. They have done so much horrible things to the most vulnerable. And when they try to vilify you, of course they're going to find anything they can try to say. Oh, no, we're doing it because you did this. For me, they're like, oh, for this woman, it was rape, what you did to this woman. So first of all, please understand that at this point, I will never address people who are involved in a program that is doing these horrible things to women and try to play the femme fatale. You are coward bottom feeders. Imagine somebody who's involved in a program like, I don't know, like just like a Nazi or so, whatever organization that has thousands of blood of women. I mean, and it's not even just killing them. It's like a slow torture. And like, no, it's rape. I was like, wait. You look back behind them and you see the all this blood and pain and torment they've done to women, and you're like, you think that I'm gonna give you this fantasy? And they go through this psyop. It's so disgusting. Target individual, for me, as a target individual, the psyop I've seen is so obviously it's like gimmicky, and they are literally creating this delusional reality. They distort reality on the level that you can understand. And they start like dressing your part, like, oh my God, it's like, you're gonna burn, I'm gonna watch it. It's like, you can't even speak about a pedophile called Roy Moore. I was like, it's allegedly. You see how fierce you are? Listen, for me, the employee who put me in this program is a very conservative individual, and the entity, the government, the organization is a very, very conservative, and they spend money on somebody who's allegedly a pedophile. Oh, he's allegedly a pedophile, and was allegedly picking up kids at the YMCA. Right? When he was 35 years old, he was picking up kids as young as 14 years old. Those kids now are grown women in their maybe 40s or whatnot. They came out and say, listen, when I was 14 years old, this man was a very renowned person in the area, who's this judge or this assistant DA. And when I was a child, of about 14 years old. He did this thing to me. My employer at the time donated money after those allegations came out. Now, today, this quote unquote fierce people investigating are terrified to say this man's name, which is Roy Moore. I've said that in front of them. They are listen. I'm currently employed by these people. I know they employ me to torment me. They are perps doing their things to me. And obviously, I'm sure they get contracted, and I'm sure there's incentives that are financial. I'm sure. I cannot see them just doing it for the fun of it and not get some kind of incentives that are financial or benefits of some sort that are very, at the end of the day, going to be beneficial. And so, like a high-level individual, he's there. He's just like, he's making fun of me. Are you going to put that on the list too? I'll get on the phone because I'm writing down all the manipulation. And say, hey, Roy Moore, he just turned red. He doesn't even know where to look. I'm like, listen, this to me is very specific to my targeting. And the reason why I bring that up is it just brings things back to reality, okay? They create PSYOPs, right? The PSYOPs is a presentation that is supposed to cover up what's behind this, right? I'm supposed to see what's this here, but not seeing what's behind, right? I'm supposed to think that this is really in charge, or this is what's doing it, but what's behind is what's really running the show. This is just like a little facade. It's just nothing. I can change that tomorrow. So I can change it to this. I can it's just easily changeable. What's behind is really what's moving around and doing these things. This trash, they can come in every shape and form and every ways they're gonna try to present. Tomorrow they can change the PSYOP as this neo-Nazis. Tomorrow, and then the next day can be all Black Panthers. Tomorrow, like it's just like it's a PSYOP. It's just nothing. What's behind this is what's running the show. Now, perps that I'm listening to, I know how bottom feeders they are in regard of the program. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't, some of them have success in regard of their personal life, not even personal life, but their actual job. But in regard of what they do to the program, like what they're part of in the program, they're nothings. They can be CEO of a company, but when it comes to the program, they're just nobody. They do their part. It's okay. So, me saying Roy Moore, put these things in perspective immediately. Oh, it's your world. Roy Moore. They just start changing. Like, what? What happened to the fierceness? I'm the smallest human being in the world, but you can't even say the name of this pedophile? I'd rather be the smallest person. That's what this person is saying. He's the smallest human. It's like, listen, God, say Roy Moore. Exactly. Rutmore, Roy Moore. So, obviously, I understand. They're agitating me and they try to create a PSYOP. So, that puts things back in perspective. And that I understand. So, this program is the program that I keep hearing from others. And of course it is. Things cannot be this systematic because there's just, let me come up with the exact same. No. This is run by the government. This is a program meant to improve this technology that is supposed to do horrible things to people and manipulate them and modulate them and change them. Behavior modulation, they are rewiring us to be something that we're not. And try to come up with ways to gaslight you into accepting these things. For me, it's like, oh no, yeah. It's like, that's abuse. Like, what are you doing to kids then? You talk about a child, but I know what you guys do. I'm so sad. And they create these fake tears. It's like, I know. Because that is human torture. That's child torture. This is not even just abuse. It's not even a right word for that. This is abuse. It's torturing. You hurt this kid for the purpose of improving this technology. It's not a child doing some stupid thing to him that you have to exaggerate. What do you guys do? Like your parents, imagine your child is putting this program, not even putting it, somehow the story that you hear about this kid is applied to your child. You'll be okay with that, right? That's what he. Because somebody outside is like, I was listening to a testimony, it's like, oh, I'm okay with that. I was like, yeah. No, you're okay with seeing this and try to block it out. I'm not gonna let you escape. Because I'm saying things for the right perspective. You know, I know you know too, and I know that you see it, that you see the right perspective too. But you need to act accordingly. I know what you guys do to children, and then when you try to play, oh no, we're doing it for this woman. Oh my gosh. What do you do to women? Almost all target individuals that are women talk about some kind of sexual torture. It is so. Listen, I feel like when I listen to a testimony of a woman who's a target individual, at one point they're gonna say that, and this rape. It's like the norm. They do things to their genitals, whatever, in ways that it's so disgusting. This technology is super sophisticated. They are disgusting low life. They are the worst threat to women. And then they play all these women. For our women, and then one guy's like, "Oh, you'll never rape again." It's like, what? Do you know who you're talking to? I know what you guys do to women. You guys are the one who raping women all around the world. This is shit. This thing is global. They are raping them, and then get the results. You know, I heard this woman in the Philippines. Because what they do is like they like to create warnings, right, and to create anxieties. And this woman from the Philippines was saying that via V2K they will tell her how she's gonna get raped. And you can see how she was just terrified. It's like, they tell me I'm gonna get raped. It's like, it's just so disgusting. This is not only in this. It's not. This is domestic, international. I will never let them live the fantasy. There's not a single woman who'll be like, oh, for what he did to me. No, only these bottom feeders who work for the program that's torturing women. For me, they're like, oh, he's horny, they're gonna rape you. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna think about all the women you guys have raped and tortured and hopefully have the strength they have that they've dealt with for decades, day in and day out. I hope that this woman's strength, I get that strength. Because I know there's a lot of women being raped by you guys, and so I hope I get their strength. Because they get raped, and it's things that are done for years. Every day. Some of them, they die living those tortures. But these bottom feeders that try to play this fun, nasty bottom feeders. So they tell me how they're gonna, our lawyers gonna like, listen, this is run by the government. They don't even need an actual lawyer, man. They can be some person is just still in school can represent them, and they'll still win. Because this is run by the government. And so it's like, yeah, our lawyer's gonna win. It's like, I don't know what the frame they're gonna talk about. Listen, I said that now because I'm gonna continuously say this. There's a few things they tell me they're gonna do. They're gonna implant child porn. They say that. They're gonna say that I did something to a child here. I keep hearing somebody say, I'm 13 years old. I'm a teenager. And it sounds like they're gonna make some child here say that I did something to them, and they are setting up things that I'm not aware, that perhaps they're on my phones and and sending each other like texts or so, like I don't know what's going on, right? But they say something like that. Another thing is they're gonna implant some drugs around here, or a gun or something like that. That's what they say they're gonna do. There's the nasty things they do. So I expect that. But when I go to work, I'm in the office, they are bringing up every manipulation I experience. They were bringing up these kids. They were like, you know, I'm so thankful that I make videos, because for my own record, I can always go back. They were bringing like I remember going to on YouTube, and I remember right before I go on YouTube, I heard somebody say chunky. I was like, oh, whatever. Next thing I know, there's a video and what look like late teenagers, like if maximum 18, I think between 16 and 18 years old. It's around that age. And I was like, oh, some person wrote some kind of like comments like, oh, that's so nasty. That's why they want me to look at these kids so they can do some nasty things. And now, mind you, this is like some late teen, and they can easily create some sexual stimulation perception of that, because they can make me try to look at them like it was like, ugh, this is nasty. They do that to babies when that's easy. Try to make me like, and they're like, oh, because these kids have like have curves, and like, ugh, it's like, listen, this is, you can do that to little kids. So this older kids, you cannot easily do this thing. This teenage kids. But I understand today I can't even look at any kid, babies. And I know they purposely put these kids on my browsing YouTube. It's like, why would it even come up? I never even, like, I understand how that would come up. So unless somebody was trying to make me see that, which they can control that, I saw that. And what you expect if they do that to little babies? So imagine those like 17, 18 like kids that they're trying to be sexual, and I'm like, come on, I know they're kids. But it's so easy if they can do that to babies. My head's like, oh, but you see that. It's like, because you make me want to see, because you make me see and perceive it like that. I would like, oh, this is a typical teenage, late teen that try to be, But now it's no longer me. They have battles in my brain to try to block that out. It's like, no, it's not me. I will not naturally feel like that. So I could look at them and go, whatever. And in my head, they're like, oh, but what about like an 18-year-old? Because once they made me look at this like 18-year-old, like super fit. And she had a very extremely fit body, but her face looked like a child. Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, it's just crazy. And they try to their best to try to make me subscribe. It's like, no, you are making me experience this thing in a sexual way. Now, if you can do that to babies, like these older kids, for sure you can do that. That's what you do. And in my mind, like, but what about the 18-year-olds? Like, oh gosh, if you can do that to a 10-year-old, you can easily do that to 18-year-old. And they're like, but that's the kind of battle I'm having in my brain. Listen, I know who I am, and I know when I'm being forced to get experiences that are not natural. Now, is it easier for me to get stimulation? Is it easier for them to manipulate me to get stimulation toward older versus younger? Of course. But I recognize the fake stuff, and if I cannot see a child like that's a very young child, this person who can just be like between 16 and 18, it's gonna be easier. So to all my target individual, for me, that's the things. They were bringing up everything they did to me. Oh, what about this like Brazilian? There's like this like 17-year-old Brazilian. She actually looked like she look her age. You see, especially when you see her with her father, look skinny. I'm like, oh my gosh. But when she was dancing, I got some nasty stimulation. Nasty. I got some intense stimulations. And to counter and to block this, they're like, oh, they're gonna rape you, and they use this deep voice. They're gonna rape you. They always bring up this type of like warnings when they want me to be acceptive of these manipulations, because I'm not. Now, whatever's gonna happen to me, if I get castrated, like they say, if I'm getting raped and stabbed and cut my, that is not gonna make me accept these manipulations. It's obvious. Nothing that they're gonna do to me is gonna make me think, oh, this is so me. I'm so natural. This is so naturally happening. No. You do the stimulations. Of course, you do that to the babies, so the older kids, it's going to be easier. And I understand that. That's why now these little kids, anyway, they try to get a glimpse of themselves. They don't even want to be seen. They don't even need to be seen. The hair. Poof. I barely open. I can see a little bit of to create. That shows how much they can easily manipulate me. So what you think if I see like a 17-year-old try to dance and bah, blow them, they're gonna do whatever. Because they can manipulate this. Now, I've recognized manipulations for what they are. But at the office, they are trying to make me say, "Oh, we caught this. Oh, caught that. Oh my gosh, we did this. All this." There was this. I saw this woman who apparently it looked like she had earrings, and you look back. I don't even think she had some, but and then just try to make me think, "Oh, this baby's black little girl, and and this little piercing." Which you see how they rewire you. For me, the way they rewire me is when I was a kid, these things would make me want to throw up. I had like this weird phobia where I always imagine myself swallowing an earring, and I would imagine choking on it and throwing up and just like gagging on it, not even choking, but gagging on it, like almost make me want to throw up. It's funny the word they made me say choke because they make me. Somebody said I'm going to be choking. They do these choking things to target individuals. It's so nasty. But I used to look at that and want to gag for some reason when I was a kid. Now, obviously, I'm okay now, but still, sometimes the little things makes me feel a little disgusting. Because I ended up having my own piercing too, right? So I had the piercing and I got over these things. But it was like, ugh, I always looked at it as like disgusting. Now they make me imagine nibbling on the ear of a child, like biting it. And it is a real imagination. You know how they did this? When I'm with a woman, if I ever nibbled on a woman's ear, they're transferring that into me doing that to a baby. They're literally making me imagine that. It's just weird. Literally make me imagine nibbling on a baby ear because when I was with a woman, I nibble her ears, and it can make your brain, they can rewire your brain in these ways. It's so crazy. They are changing your brain and rewiring your things in different ways. And then they're like, no, it's you, they are. You're going to be castrated. You believe it. It's like, oh no, I'm going to be castrated. No, I know it's you guys manipulating me. They're disgusting. I said, oh, write down the list. Yes. Let me call Roy Moore and then put down the list. Of course I know it's not me. And they try to make you accept this. No, they are. And there's like my friend, he had like his niece, and she's like a big chunky, big chicks and whatever. And she had a lawyer. They're trying to make me imagine this. Disgusting. And you have to just accept that your brain is no longer yours. They can play with your brain like that. It is non-stop. And they try to make you accept that black girls, because that's when they map. They say, oh, black girls. We mapped it. When you were a kid, you looked at it. No. You are making me experience this nastiness. I've seen, well, obviously, I know this is not me reacting to this naturally. You acting the certain way is not going to make me subscribe to it. I know you know even better than me that I'm being manipulated this way. But it's the way it's going to be. Any kids, especially little girls. And I think little boys is going to be hard because what I can do is always can bring up a picture of me holding a baby that's a boy. So that's going to be tougher. But little girls, oh, that's the nastiest. Stimulations, it's so disturbing. Even right now, the drying out my mouth make me think of that. Giving me cotton mouth. It's so nasty. They are trying their best to make you accept this. Now, they could tell me how they're going to watch me being tortured. I was like, listen, before you watch me, please understand, I know that I will never subscribe to this manipulation. This is the way you make me experience. It's not me when I was a child, and I'm not a child. So listen to your trash ass. You work for entities that are filled with pedophiles, and now you're trying to make people accept these manipulations of their mind and rewire them into looking at kids and feel these reactions that you think that people should be subscriptive to it because you say you mapped it to a man when he was a kid, or to a woman when she was a child. Delusional trash. And they use this retard. I saw this person, they tried to make me look at her butt in this way and look at back. It's like, this is crazy. They gave her some things that wasn't there. Now, I'm not trying to be sexual, but this is how they can change and distort your perceptions. I couldn't believe. It's like, what? No. I mean, look. I was like, no way. And I see her. It's just such a child, like me. She's a young adult. She's working in the office. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so dead. Not because I'm like, oh, but like, if this person is the one involved, like, this is over. Just to say how hypothetical it is, like, if this person is out here, I'm dead. Look at this person. I can make her cry in 2 seconds. Like, she's such a vulnerable person. Like, not even, I'm not even talking about like strength, muscles, and whatever. I'm talking mental, like, strength. Like, like, no mental, like, look. She's cried the last 3 weeks, probably like from nothing. She'll probably like break down of some sort. She dropped something. Like, I was like, I'm dead. That's it. Look at this. I almost left. I felt bad when I know she's involved in big time. So I almost felt bad. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, look at this kid. Like, she's an adult, huh? But she's like, oh my gosh. But I know she probably does so horrible things to me. But look at her. You think this is person in charge of anything here? It means I'm already gone. If I ever see somebody like that involved in my program, like, you know that it's over. It's been over. So for me, they just, have these people, employer, who's like, oh, we're gonna sue you. It's like, sue me. I'm a freaking, I get paid in X amount. Like, it makes more, you spend more than you paid on me. Like, how much you paid for me. Like, how much the salary. My salary is not even going to be as much as how much you're going to spend on suing me. But I understand. It's because there's incentives to do this for the stress purpose. I get it. I know what you guys do. The reality is these people have been manipulating me and try to be making me accepting of these things, which I'll never. I will never subscribe to it. Little girls today, I came to this little Hispanic, they try to do stimulations. Oh, it's so sad. This baby is so. No, they try to make me imagine this man who did. It's so sad. These things I used to like. Oh my gosh, she was so endearing, wholesome. Seeing little kids and whatever, I was like, oh, now it's like, even the voice of a baby talking is just, things that make you feel like, oh, joy. That's the disturbing things. And that's because they do the pedophilia type of torture to torment me. Trauma-target individuals, stay strong. Know yourself, because these people are going to try to get you to accept these manipulations. And you have to never subscribe to this. Whatever pain and torment and torture, death comes to all of us. These trash are going to die. Can you imagine living life where your job is to try to make somebody accept a manipulation that is so disturbing, and work for entities where those things they try to make this person experience happen to this a problem of that, which a clear pattern. I heard this woman say, that's when I gotta say this. I heard this woman say something, and it was just so bad. She was like, oh, there's a clear pattern. I was like, because she was trying to make me say, oh, clear with me? You're talking about me, saying you mapped it to me when I was a child. There's a clear pattern that you do the pedophilia type of torture. There's a clear pattern that there's a lot of target individuals saying they experience some kind of pedophilia type of torture. This one literally say they try to change who I am with this thoughts of pedophilia. And there's people around trying to make you accept this. There's a woman who say they make me smell baby powder and then get this pedophilia type of torture. A petition comes out, remote pedophilia. Almost all targeted individuals get some child porn implanted in their mind. What do you think they try to do? A woman said they've been doing these things where they do this programming perversion and aim it toward children. What are you talking about? In my mind, it's like, oh no, but you is true because little girl. I was like, please. So you guys start mapping it on August 19, 2019, and now I'm like a child? Of course I know this is the pedophilia type of torture. When you do that, is it boys or little girls? It's trash. To all my target individuals, stay strong. Know that justice is going to be done for the things they do to us. But do not subscribe for this nasty manipulation. Nobody's perfect. Know your imperfection. But know that the people try to make you accept these nasty things. Not only do this pedophilia type of torture, this psychological torture, this physical torture, but the things they've done to the most vulnerable you couldn't even believe. So stay strong.